Hello, I'm Aloni Bhatt. Welcome to this conversation on pioneering India's first female-only warehouse and women seafarers cadet program, part of the conversations under our flagship initiative, ET Prime Women Leadership Awards. Today, we have with us the MD of Maersk South Asia, Vikash Agarwal. Maersk is an integrated logistics company operating in over 130 countries. Vikash, it's wonderful to have you here with us.
Thanks, Melanie, for having me.
All right, to start with, the logistics sector has been a male-dominated space. And in India, as of 2020, the logistics sector was set to have a 20% female workforce, which is more or less in sync with the global average. Could you tell us what prevents women, from your vantage, from joining sectors like logistics and viewing these as inclusive, safe, growth-oriented career options?
Yeah, I mean, Melanie, there are several reasons why women have historically been underrepresented in the logistics sector. Few of them to call out is the stereotypes and bias around women's abilities and interests. Traditionally, logistics has been perceived as a male-dominated industry that requires traits that have been associated with men, such as physical strength and endurances. Stereotyping can discourage women from pursuing careers in logistics and lead to bias in hiring and promotions decisions. That is
Right.
one. The second is perceptions around the work environment. Jobs in the sectors are thought to require long hours and erratic, irregular schedules. Some women perceive the industry to be non-inclusive, non-welcoming to women. The third, if I can say, is the void of women leadership and role model in this industry that women can look up to and emulate their career path. And finally, if I could call out, is the gap in education pipeline. Women may not be encouraged to pursue career in logistics because of the above perceptions by friends and family. And there are also lack of awareness about such roles, and women might also assume that there are gender-based criteria which can prevent them from even applying for a job. And addressing these barriers will need wholehearted efforts by the industry. And at Maersk, we are pioneering and undertaking several initiatives to create an inclusive culture in the logistics space. So these are some of the real bottlenecks or some of the reasons which are preventing women to join our industry.
All right, and that was very well put. So there's biases, there's also this limitation where, women set out for themselves because they think, that this is not a space for them. And it's kind of compounded by what society says and the way education also sort of, comes across. We'll get into what you said about the initiatives that Musk has to lead the change. But
Yeah.
we're seeing that more women want to be trained in roles such as warehouse management and freight forwarding. But could you now tell us what are some of the factors or trends that are leading to the degenderization of these traditionally male-dominated roles? What are some of the promising things that you're seeing unfold in terms of witnessing this positive change, which is related to diversity and inclusion and an increased representation of women?
Yeah. So below, there are multiple trends which has been really unfolding in recent past. I'll talk about a few of them which are very, very important for us to understand what is really driving the change. First is the changing attitude now. More women are encouraged to pursue careers in traditionally male-dominated fields, while companies recognizes the benefit of having a diverse workforce. So that is the very clear thing is the changing attitude. The second, what we find is the skill development initiative is the logistics sector. Skill Council is helping train and prep women for a career in logistics and the skills and knowledge to succeed. So that is another piece which is helping the women workforce to really join this industry. The other very important piece is the advent of improved and efficient motorized technology coupled with digitization of the logistics sector, which is opening up new career opportunity that appeals to a wider set of women population now. Work like data analysis, supply chain planning and design, customer service required is completely different skill sets than the traditional logistic roles and may be more attractive to women now. Traditionally, the area of logistics has used muscle power for packing, lifting, delivering. However, much of that has changed or is changing now. Today, most logistic companies employ a high degree of automation to take care of packing, sorting, transporting within the premises. From forklifts to conveyor belts, from cars which are attached to trolleys to robots, women can now take more operational and management role in logistics now. What we are also finding is the flexibility and work-life balance. If there was one positive outcome that has emerged out of pandemic, was that the acceptance towards flexible working. The industry is now beginning to recognize the importance of work-life balances and offering more flexible work arrangements, which can be particularly appealing to women balancing work and family responsibility. And all of this, coupled with D&I initiatives and awareness programs from network like Women in Logistics and SCM professionals, are promoting a very healthy gender balance in the industry now. Where there are skills, some way to go till we have equal representation for both the genders in the workforce. This trends indicate that the industry is on the right track now. So there are essentially a huge amount of work which is happening. And this is really some of the trends which are really promoting the women workforce to join the industry now.
All right, and these all sound good. Hopefully, there's more work that continues in strengthening these trends and sort of getting more women into this sector. But we're keen to know, Vikas, what's the percentage of women at Maersk in, say the India South Asia side?
Yeah, so Milone, we have a mix of things right now. Say, I'll give you a classic example in Bangladesh, where we started with 8%. Today, we are at 40% in Bangladesh of all the economy, which is more difficult for us. So we have now achieved 40% in Bangladesh. In India, we are close to 28 to 30% now. And in Sri Lanka, we have a ratio of, again, a similar trend of around 30%. Of course, our ambition is to be somewhere around 30 to 40% level. And ideally, it should be 50-50. But given all the headway what we have, I think we are on a very good track right now. If we can even reach to 40%, what Bangladesh team has managed to get.
All right, and these are fantastic numbers when you look at the sector. And I'd like to know a little bit about how you achieved these numbers. Linked to upskilling and training, which are all considered very vital in today's times, and giving one's career a fresh lease. And so many women are now opting for it. Your company has also launched India's first Women's Seafarers Cadet program last year. So also, if you could tell us a little bit about that, the impact, and you have an ambitious target of 50% fresh cadet intake being women by 2027. So, how are you going to achieve that goal?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question, Melody. For centuries, seafaring has been equated with men. And this has naturally influenced the overall conditioning, beliefs, and the action of the stakeholders associated with the marine industry. And there are a variety of reasons why we stand where we stand today, ranging from perceptions about careers at sea, insufficient awareness around opportunities, culture bias, etc., etc. The first step towards solving the problem is acknowledging it first. And it is about time we turn the tide with women on board and ensure everyone is equal at sea. The administration in India is already taking many positive steps to promote women in the maritime sector, with initiatives such as education grant and leadership programs. Maersk recognizes the effort required to reach diversity, and constant commitment is necessary to bridge the gap between diversity and equity further. We also know that our target of equal distribution between women and men cadet intakes by 27 is highly ambitious. However, we realize such a change, we must verbalize, set ambitious targets, and measure progress. We are also a company driven by the star of hope. We know that significant change is possible if we put our minds and efforts into it. And to ensure sustainability of this initiative, we have adopted a three-pronged approach. The number one is promote, the second, nurture and advance. We are investing in outreach program to promote a career in seafaring in school across India. To nurture, Maersk has collaborated with Emmet University in Chennai to design and implement a dedicated women cadet program now, where women are treated equally. This program shall provide women with a safe environment, both physically and psychologically, and without discrimination. To further advance women in the maritime careers, Maersk is actively investing in increasing the number of women in our fleet and creating an equitable workplace to retain talent. We have formed a dedicated cultural transformation team whose job is to purely look at this holistically. We are looking at everything from process and procedures to PPE and giving management onboard tools to have meaningful conversations about making everyone feel included and part of the team. Alongside our efforts in India now, at a global level as well, it is a constant endeavor to ensure alignment in our purpose, process, and policy, and equip our people to successfully manage the required cultural shifts which we need. We believe that by focusing on inclusion, we will improve the lives of all our seafarers and make it attractive to sail with us for everyone and not just for women.
All right, and we wish you the very best as you go on, with your three-pronged objectives of promote, nurture, and advance.
And that's
This is now my last question to you. The company opened its first entirely women-run warehouse in Dadri in UP. Why was this initiative taken? What went into making it a reality? Can you tell us a little bit about the impact that it's had on the community there? And what are some of the learnings that you'd like to share with other organizations in this space?
yeah. So, Melanie, this is further to what we started to do when we embarked on our journey of integrative logistics. So we were setting up multiple warehouses across the countries. And what we realized that in few warehouses, a simple task like picking and packing, we saw women workforce participating, but we started to realize when it comes to depot, ICDs, which are very remote location, we saw hardly any representation of women workforce. And we decided we wanted to really create an opportunity for women in a very traditionally male-dominated sector. A case like Dadri Depot, which is in a very remote location. And as per the 21 census, so when we looked further down into Dadri, we realized as per 21 census, Dadri has only 6% working women of its total population. And our team on the ground had a strong desire to contribute towards change in that respect, as what we were trying to do in our different work, in a work environment. So what we recognized the need that this women in Dadri had for securing jobs, that these are women who are required to earn money and run their households. We recognize that these women are ready to take on the challenges of a developed society. To us, having women on workforce help us to create a value for our customers. And this is important because which also brings a very different perspective in our work environment, thereby enabling us to serve our customers who comes from a very different diverse background as well. In our experience, we observed that the diverse team have high productivity and creative approach to problem solving. And you'll be surprised in Dadri, our women workforce are more productive than the men workforce actually. With the perfect business case, what we realized, we decided to take on the bold leadership of going ahead and playing a role in a way that enables these women to take these jobs. And I should mention to you, this was not an easy job, because it took us 9 months to bring this to life. When we opened the Dadri in 23rd of September 2022, there were 84 women ready to run the facility by taking charge of every task, from security to housekeeping to operating a forklifts, handling cargo, operating computers, working on the systems, and managing clerical work as well. But creating employment for all these women was not a task achieved overnight, as I mentioned. So it took us 9 months essentially to bring this to life. And it took us a lot of work where we started engaging the local contracting agencies to build a case for women to be trained and offered employment in the upcoming new warehouse. After much deliberation, on the ground team realized that the biggest challenge was convincing the family of the women to let them come and work in our warehouses. The team approached the families of potential women candidates. We even went to the school and the headmasters to counsel them about the benefits for the women who could work at the Maersk warehouse. Once the families and the headmasters were convinced about safety of the women, hygienic working conditions, and a fair opportunity which Maersk was prepared to offer, the organization design was drawn up and the workforce requirement was charted completely. While some women could take up unskilled and semi-skilled jobs immediately, others had to undergo skilling work again that involved operational, say, for example, operating material handling equipments that required training. And this is where we invested quite a bit of our time. We partnered with institute and trainers who were identified to undertake those training with our women workforce, and those specialized tasks where these women were trained on those specialized tasks after a lot of preparation. So it was not an easy task. And I'm very delighted to even share, Melanie, is we started this work with a lot of skeptics from our own people, from our contractors, and from the families as well. Today, if you see in Dadri, almost every ICD, what is there now, there are 3 more ICDs, everyone has started deploying women workforce now. And this is amazing work where we started with 0. Now the whole industry has embraced this, and they started to see the value of a women workforce joining and having a better productivity than even better than the men.
You know, it's a fantastic and a very empowering story, especially in an area, like Dadri, where it's difficult to find women actually in the workforce, and this is deep in UP's heartland. So this is amazing, and we wish you greater success, as you try to integrate more and more women into the maritime sector. And, as you said, a place where women and men are equal at sea. Thank you so very much for speaking to us, Vikas, and thank you so very much for sharing your thoughts.
Thanks, Piloni. It has been my honor, and I'm really delighted I could share some of our experiences here. Thank you.
Thank you.